The next calculation that I'd like to do in the spreadsheet is to calculate the average number of days that each case stayed. So the calculation is simple. Or average length of stay in a particular month. And I can, again, copy the format that was used in the previous cell. Okay, and now what I'd like to do is divide the number of days by the number of cases. That gives me the average length of stay for the particular program. Now, notice here I'm not fixing the denominator, because what I'd like to do is, as I move down, I want to use the values for the particular row. So here I'd like to divide 919 by 201, and here I'd like to divide 816 by 95, and so on. So I'm using it after I double-clicked on it and I see the formula. Now I'm getting out without changing it, so I'm just pushing escape. Okay, so I drag this down, and I copy and I paste the formula here. And if I want to change the format in terms of the number of decimal places, I can do this here, decrease the decimals. So let me just go up to 2 decimals. So this is average length of stay, and it's going to be in days. And if the formula doesn't fit, and if I want to, let's say, use a bit more of this space, what I can do here, this here is wrap text under the display. So you can see, instead of having Microsoft E, it doesn't fit. We can have it wrap extra long text into multiple lines so you can see it all. So I can change that, and I can make the row height a little bit more. So here I have average length of stay in days, and if I want to add, for example, just like in the previous one, the borders, I can go here and I can select that I want all borders and do the same here, all borders. Okay, so now I've calculated average length of stay for each area, and the difference again that I want to show is that in this case I did not use absolute addressing. Here I just drag the formula down, and every time for every row I wanted it to refer to the cells in its row. And this is different from what I did here when I was calculating 924 cases or 927 cases, what percentage of cases in the month that represented. I wanted to always have the denominator refer to row 23, so I fixed row 23 with the $sign, so as I dragged the formula down, it kept referring to row 23. Okay, so now the next thing that I want to show you is, so I have this average length of stay for various departments, and now I want to figure out what is the average length of stay for the hospital overall. Now, let me do it here, because I want to average length of stay. So it wouldn't, there is a command called average in Excel, and let's say I could give it this range and this range, okay, and it would calculate the average for me, and that average would be 6.22 days, right? We could also calculate the average by dividing the total number of days by the total number of cases. You can see these two numbers are not the same. Here I'm getting 6.32, and here I'm getting 6.22. So if we think about it, it would seem that this number makes more sense, right? It's the total number of inpatient days in the hospital divided by the total number of cases. So what's wrong here? Well, here we did this average, we calculated without weighing what percentage of patients stayed 7.32 days, what percentage of patients stayed 4.57 days, and so on. So this average is calculated by just taking the sum of these numbers adding this number and dividing by the total number of numbers. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so we're getting, if you want more digits to make sure they are the same, we can do that. Okay, so that's how this number here was calculated. But we want the number to be the weighted number. So it has to be weighted by the percentage of patients that stayed on average this long, by the percentage of patients that stayed on average this long. And if we do that, there is a function, weighted average. There is a function that's called SUMPRODUCT, and it takes two or more arrays and multiplies elements that are in the same place and then adds them together. So it would take, so what I'm going to do is do this and this plus this times that. Okay, so now if you look, this weighted average that I calculated using SUMPRODUCT is going to be, and I can increase the number of digits here to convince you, is going to be the same as dividing the total number of days by the total number of cases. So again, I want to talk to you about this function of SUMPRODUCT. How does it work? It takes the element in C4 and multiplies it by the element in E4, C5 by E5, C6 by E6, and so on, C15, E15, and then adds them all together. So it sums the products. So here, SUMPRODUCT is useful for finding the weighted averages. So SUMPRODUCT is useful for other calculations as well, but here I demonstrated to you the calculation using SUMPRODUCT to find the weighted average, or another word for what we did was find the expected value, the mean of the length of stay for that month.